and gentlemen, welcome to the iconic Michael Ogbemudia Stadium, the proud home of the reigning champions, Edo Queens. And to state the fact, we're all thrilled to kick off the 2024 and 2025 Nigerian Women Football League season with a star match as the defending champions and Wafu B title holders, Edo Queens clash with Abia Angels.
To start rebuilding and the transition for them, and I think that is kind of working out for them. You know, unlike some teams where you have to keep on piling pressure, that is.
It's a goal. It's a goal for Edo Queens in the 29th minute. Edo Queens lead 1 goal to nothing right here at the Michael Ogbemudia Stadium. Into the hand of Abia Angels. Back again, and we have Michael Sodeke making a run for this one. Moses Esther making a run for this one, and it's a goal! It's a goal for Edo Queens. MMSN running towards the substitute players, trying to celebrate right there. Goal number 2 comes in through MMSN for Edo Queens. What a night of another fantastic goal coming in from Edo Queens. There you have it, Moses Esther getting a very fine shot that met with MMSN, and she was
There was a late-minute tactical change to bring in Chimezie Ekeze for Eshedorati. Now the coach is making the right decision eventually from what she wanted to do in the first half. We saw what Chimezie did in the first half. Let's see what Dorati will be able to do. I think the coach needs go. That's why she's bringing in.
Able to turn it around. Will she be able to make this one 3-0 up for her side, Edo Queens? Jogging up to the ball, and it's a goal. It's a goal. Goodness Osigwe makes it 3-0 in favor of Edo Queens in this encounter. Quite a celebration right there. I mean, very sensible.
For Abia Angels, they are not relenting despite 3 goals down, and Edo Queens also are not stopping from attacking despite 3 goals down. They want to score more goals, at least maybe to put fear in the mind of people, and that just is the 4th goal of the game. MMSN again is Atija. I want to say this is what she's made of, and this is what the team, has been able to put forward for themselves. Eden Lovett in there, and the ball was taken as a corner kick. The ball finds her way to her head, and she ended in perfectly beating some.
With a nice pass, and it's a goal. Another goal for Edo Queens, making it 5-0 in their favor. There you have it. Another goal by Kafayat Mafishere, getting her name into the scorer sheet also. A very calm one, a very calm cross to make it 5 for her side, Edo Queens. Assisted. Whistle in this game. It has been a fantastic game between Edo Queens and Abia Angels.
Hello and welcome to Channel Sport on Sunday. A lot is happening in the sports world. It is January, and January is starts with the Australian Open, the Aussie Open. So history will be made. I don't know how. The way I'm looking at it, whoever wins something, history will be made. We'll look at a lot is really happening at Australia. I call it the far end of the world. I did say there was a year that they had 2 Australian Open tournaments too. And there was another year that there was no Australian Open. These things, when you look at them, you ask yourself, how they manage it. I remember when the World Cup was being taken to Qatar, and some of us, maybe something that you are used to, we resist change. So I think maybe mentally, even before you have that, you physically voice it out. Before you say this in your mind, you already said, how can this happen? How are you going to disrupt the EPL? How are you going to do this? How are you going to start place a World Cup in the beginning, in the middle of a season? What is happening? What they come back? But you did come back. But this would I say, look, when you put your mind to things, you get it done. So the Aussie Open, had that year, used to be the starts at the beginning of the year, just like after of the fall, because you have the Australian Open in January. Then you from there you go to, which is a hard court anyway. Then you go to the slow clay court at Roland Garros in France, and then Paris, and that is the next one. Then from there you transit to the fast grass of Wimbledon in England, SW19. Then before you close in September, where you go over there to the US Open. But then that is not, then at the point they say, look, instead of them starting, let them end it. Let them end it. So they moved it from January to December. And that year, I've already done it. I've already done it in January. They were able to do it in December. When they decided to now come back again to make it the first and not the last, of course, that year there was none. So that is kind of the history, so a part of the history of the Australian Open. From there, we shall also look at, it is the transfer season. It is the transfer season. 10 years. But that was in response. Because Manchester United, this is not even an extension. We're talking about, whatever, look at what is really happening here. United look at Amad Diallo, a man that they were trained from year to year, came in from Italy. They sent him on loan to Rangers, on loan to Sunderland, and brought him back. And suddenly the rejected stone, now became the chief cornerstone. But as we were doing that, they said, look, when these guys are fine, also they are trying to ship out, Marcus Rashford, and somewhere along the line, they said, look, we'll get a 5.5 years contract. They dumped it on his lap. We are going nowhere. From now on, we're extending your contract. In response, City say, if we not give them 5, we'll give them 10. And suddenly, Haaland, was given a 10 years contract. And I tell you, when Amad Diallo got his own 5.5 years contract, he scored a hat-trick. His first ever hat-trick in his life. So tell me this. Let us see what Haaland is going to respond to. If Erling Haaland, because you can see the stats there, we'll come to those stats of Erling Haaland. The guy just came to EPL. Some people say you acclimatized. Give him time to adjust to the league. When you are good, you are good. He was scoring his goal in Norway. He scored his goal in Austria. He scored his goal in Germany. He's scoring the goal in the EPL. It doesn't really matter. It is the leather and the pitch. Don't tell me that. Whatever. A lot of players came in. Luis Suarez came into the EPL, turned it upside down, tearing everybody apart. Ruud van Nistelrooy came in, scoring, started with a brace when he played Manchester United. So when you are good, I'm trying to remember this player. I think I remember him, who came in, I think from Parma to Newcastle. They flew him in that same day. They flew him in. What's his name? South America. And he came in, and then he scored. So this is sometimes it's taking time to let you understand the league. When some people will good, look at players. Sanchez moved from Arsenal to Manchester United. He was scoring. When they got to Manchester United, his boot was tied. They said he came without the manual. Anyway, who talk that out? Look at other things. It happens. You sometimes you lose form, sometimes you get it, and then you move on. So look at that. Look at also results in at the CAF Champions League, results in the EPL, and every other thing that is happening in the sports world. It's going to be an exciting day, and we're going to have some guests. The truth is, like I said, this is the transfer season. Men that make it happen. FIFA says before a player moves, from one club to the other. I mean, you also have a licensed agent. Formerly, these have the intermediaries, but right now you write your exams from 2023. You go and write your exams, and then you are certified. So you're supposed to do that. But then there are a lot of stories concerning the agents. How sincere are they? Do they collect money from players? Do players trust them? Do clubs trust them? So in Nigerian clubs, the foreign clubs trust them. The fans trust them. Sometimes in Nigeria, somebody will say, "Oh, this is what is happening. Agents and scouts are filling the stadium. The training ground of the team." And those, a lot of things do happen. So you ask yourself, are they saints or sinners? They too are saying, I mean, at what point in time do the service of an agent needed by a player? Why do you need an agent? What can an agent do for you? And then what is required in order? Some of these also find players pay agents. I mean, is it legit for you? Is it legal for you to do that? You get it. We see players who were taken out of Nigeria, they dumped somewhere, they were asking people to pay them. If their family will be sending money, they're supposed to be good to go and earn, and then whatever. So a lot of things are in that terrain, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today, we will have some guests, who are FIFA licensed agents, to look at these things with us. But let us start from from Australian Open. I was talking about let's start with Novak Djokovic. Djokovic is the only man to have won 24 big ones, 24 Grand Slam, and in the history of the Australian Open, he has won 10, as in 1-0. He has just played in the past 20 years. Djokovic has qualified for at least, that is Alcaraz, we're talking about, has qualified for at least the quarterfinals of a major. There is no year in the past 20 years that he has not reached the quarterfinals of a major, be it at the Australian Open, the French Open, Wimbledon, or the US Open. So the tenacity, he has more Masters 1000 tournament than any other person. He has more season ending. He has more weeks at number one than any other tennis player in history. And at 38, I tell you this man is moving on to say, can he win the 11th one? And if he does that, put him at number 25. Of course, the number 24, he is sharing with Margaret Court, who coincidentally is an Australian. She's an Australian, and then she won in both the earlier era and then the Open era. But Djokovic has done all his own in the Open era. 24 Grand Slam. If he takes it outright, nobody shares it. We remember when Serena Williams was trying to get, after getting to 23, I mean, she got about 5 or 6 finals after that and never won anyone. A lot of things, some self-inflicted, I don't want to tragedy, but disappointment based on her reactions to certain issues. So you are going to see, we are looking at Djokovic doing there. But to get there, at the quarterfinals, there is an epic. The man he played at the last at Wimbledon final, the man he played at the Paris Olympic gold to win the Olympic gold, he lost at Wimbledon, won the Olympic gold. Alcaraz, the young Turk, is the man he's going to play at the quarterfinals. Mouth-watering. That is a final of any major, any day, anywhere, anytime, any place, whatever you think about it. But that is what is going to happen. So he'll be taking us Alcaraz, Carlos Alcaraz. Alcaraz at his young age, if he wins this, will have completed his career slam. At 21, he will be the youngest ever player to complete the career slam if he wins the Australian Open. You understand? He has other ones. He has the French Open. He has the US Open and Wimbledon right in his pocket. So pick this, and then he will join the greats at that age. I will be the youngest player to do so. So we are looking at players who a lot is expected of them in this Australian Open. Yannick Sinner, defending champion. I mean, nobody gave him a chance. Then suddenly he are now eclipsed. He has evolved. He has, he just knocks this thing around. He wants to take that in back to back. who can stop him? Alexander Zverev yet to win his slam. Getting to the semi-final is not enough. Can he get to the final and win it? So a lot of permutations that are out there and whatever we want to do. But we are getting set. We'll see if we can start looking at the season, and then when our guests join us, we are going to go over there and let. Okay, I think I'm told one of our guests is ready. Who do we have in the house now? Who do we have? Okay, we have I don't know whether in the house. Let's try. Let's catch up with him. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. He is a FIFA licensed agent. I don't know. Some see the licensed agent as either a saint or as a sinner. But then I want to understand this. You are reaching from Warri. How is Warri?
Warri is fine. It's raining, drizzling gradually now. So the Warri is cool and calm.
It's raining. Lagos is dry.
Yes, very.
Yeah, it's sunny and dry. We've not seen rain now for some time in Lagos. It's good to know Warri. So Warri is always raining. Warri Benin Houses. Only at the Benin Houses, they will have that red soil. And then you know how to move in there. But it is good to have the rains. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Can you actually introduce yourself? To at least our watching our viewers who are watching us from the comfort of their homes.
All right. Good evening. Good afternoon to all our viewers all over the world. Followers of Channels Sports. My name is Eddie Ogbemudia. I'm a FIFA licensed football agent. I'm also the board member of African Football Agent Association, and also double as the head of training and education for African Football Agents Association. I've been in this business for over a decade. I've had opportunity to represent a lot of players that have passed through the Super Eagles like Ete Bogenekaro, Danny Agbe, and so many others, too numerous to mention at this instance. So it's a pleasure to have me here on this show. And I'll be very glad sharing my insight in this business with all your viewers all over the world. Thank you.
Okay, I want to say thank you very much. I know I will try to reach on a very short notice, and then your response, Eddie, is what we truly appreciate. Let us look at the agency, the football agents business in Nigeria. How do you classify it? Is it attuned to what you find all over the world, or within here in Nigeria, are we still trying to understand what the business is like and the challenges that you guys are facing?
All right. Basically, I would say in Nigeria, we are not really having it funny. It's not nice. Especially talking about this business supposed to be a form of a collaborative business. We need to also work with clubs and players, but we find it difficult to actually break into those other parties who will make our business easy. Like, for example, we're supposed to be liaising with some of the football authorities to see how there are platforms whereby we can showcase whatever we have had as a license to practice. Will I say the avenue to practice whatever license we have been given to, it has not been easy compared to other parts in the world. Firstly, if you look at it, I like the way you introduced the topic earlier on. You take we have issues of trust. Really, there are issues of trust because a lot of people are parading themselves as agents, and as they are parading themselves as agents, they defraud others, and because of that kind of experience that people have had is really difficult when they see the genuine agents come into the picture for them to deal with them. And I know you also mentioned it, an agent that is licensed will never demand the money, any amount of money from you to put you in a position maybe for you to now showcase your talent as a footballer. Or as a club, an agent does not need to demand money from you to see how you can transfer your player from one club to another. We have all those kind of people already parading themselves and taking advantage of the desperation of people that want to say, yes, I want to travel abroad. You see some unscrupulous elements coming and infiltrating the business. Then also, we also have the aspect of some officials in the, let me say, in the federation, as the case may be, they want to also play the role of an agent without license. They want to play the role of an agent. They want to represent these players. And because of that, they strip for all the process to make sure that those that are licensed, they don't even do the job they are supposed to do. So those are some of the difficulties we are facing, like trying to make sure that those that are licensed, for them to work, they need to work double as is expected in a foreign land.
Okay, let us look at it this way. How do you identify who a FIFA licensed agent is?
Okay, we are licensed by FIFA and we have a digital card. Like as a licensed agent, you have a digital card that is verifiable on FIFA website. So if someone comes to you that he is a licensed football agent, you say, okay, can I see your, just like somebody introducing himself to you as a military man, can I see your ID card? We all that are licensed by FIFA, we have a digital ID card and it has a barcode which if you scan it, automatically it will show you my details on FIFA website. So you don't need to even go and make any other verification. So if you scan that barcode and it did not show that I exist in FIFA website, automatically you know that I'm not a licensed agent. So a lot of people parade themselves. They are not licensed because since 2023, as you mentioned, FIFA actually abolished the intermediary and introduced the licensing process whereby whoever that needs to operate as an agent must be licensed after passing through the process of either writing an exam or if the person has been licensed before now, going through a legacy part of revalidating his license, and that person will be issued the digital card that will show that, yes, this fellow is a licensed football agent. So it's very easy to identify. It's just a very small card that anyone that is licensed have access to.
If a footballer is searching for an agent now, and then, it doesn't have to meet you physically, is there any way that they can access the FIFA website to say, I want to search for licensed FIFA licensed agents in Nigeria? Is it possible for anybody, even a club or a player? Or even a coach?
Okay, yes. At a time it was possible, but this new regulation that was fixed by FIFA, the FIFA agent regulation, has some issue with litigation in Europe. And because of that, at the time, all our details were available on FIFA website. You can go there and search list of agents. You enter my name, Ogbemudia, you see it, Ogbemudia is there as one of the licensed agents. So at the time, it was available, but because of the litigation and issues still with court, that particular aspect of the regulation was suspended. Okay. And because of the suspension, they actually delisted that part of it online for now. So what most national federation did, or for example, in Nigeria, the agents that are licensed in Nigeria, most federations now put their list on their own federation websites, at least to guide their clubs and players. But unfortunately, in Nigeria, in fact, we have made several attempts to meet with the leadership of the NFF. We have written several letters, so maybe play them a meeting to at least have a formal interaction with them. Those meetings have actually been turned down. So you can imagine if we can't meet with them, there's no way there can be a formal information that will be displayed to others. Like some of my colleagues that are in Europe, some of them in their country, they have their list of licensed agents on their federation website. Since FIFA suspended theirs, they now have to protect their people. They have the list of everybody licensed that are based and operating from that federation. They have their list on their website.
Okay, which means, so if we want to look for you now on the list, we won't see you. we want to search your name now. We won't see you. Unless we'll come and meet you. I'll say, okay, fine. Let us show your ID card. Is there, you swear you are the Secretary General of the Association of Licensed Agents, or? I don't know.
No. I'm a board member of African Football Agent Association. That's the body that actually take care of the affairs of the old agent in Africa, and also I'm the head of training and education in Africa Football Agent. For Nigeria, I'm one of the people trying to put up an association for the Nigeria, but the whole of Africa.
That's the Africa. Because I wanted to ask if you have it in Nigeria, probably if the association would have approached the Nigerian FA and say, look, why don't we have our names listed so that players can know that these are the legitimate people they want to meet if they want to do if they want representation.
You are very correct. I said before that we have made that attempt. We have written to the NFF. Most of our letters let's say, ended on their desk. There was no response, no formal invitation to let's interface with these people because we play a critical role. Our agent is a stakeholder in the football ecosystem. And it's unfortunate that our federation have not actually recognized the important role we play in the life of players and also club. So for now, let's hope that maybe there will be a pharaoh that will recognize us, that will invite us to the table.
Yeah, Pharaoh, that will recognize you guys. Okay, let us look at it this way. Like I said, there is the issue of trust. If you want to represent a player, there are, of course, either they are minor or they are, of age, probably 18. We've seen a lot of our young players, been taking, get through their agents, taken outside this country, and like you said, what is the process before we go outside the country within clubs in Nigeria? I mean, how has it been like? How do you guys interact with the chairman of clubs or the management of clubs in order to transfer players? And Nigerian players, do they all have agents? To your own knowledge, I don't know. Of course, whatever. I want to understand if all Nigerian players have our representation.
Okay, one thing I've observed about Nigerian players is that more than 95% of those who even play in a professional league do not have agents, and the reason is not far-fetched. The average Nigerian player does not want to part with any fee. For example, if I'm representing you as your agent, whatever you earn, I'm entitled to a certain percentage. And with my interaction I've had with Nigerian players, they want to get it all. The only time they will need you as an agent is maybe if there is a trouble, there is an issue, and they want you to come because they know you are more experienced, you are more learned, at least you have vast network, you could help them. That is when they will remember that, okay, my agent could help me. The average Nigerian player will tell you he can negotiate for himself. And that is why they fall into issues whereby a club will give them documents with a series of clauses that are indicting. They will just focus on how much are they expected to earn. Their own focus is how much will I earn as a salary. That is whatever clause the club put out. Okay, you are going to be paid 500,000, but if you do this, we deduct 50% of salary. That does not concern them because the average Nigerian player cannot read between the line of a professional football contracts. And I can say it because of the experience I've had with many of them, and because they don't want to part with any money, that is why it continues. Then the aspect of our relationship with club management, one thing we can say we are doing, especially on the Africa body, my president, who also happened to be joining us very soon, is one of the pioneers of football against football trafficking that have been projecting that in Africa. And I have actually had so many experience with players that some persons that we act as agents will lure from the shores of Nigeria and we abandon them in Europe and some other places where these players are abandoned to fend for themselves or their parents are exploited and several huge amount of money is demanded to see how those players even return back to Nigeria. So, for example, a minor that is talented, if this player is talented and, for example, I want to work with this player, I must carry the club along because the club, most of their benefits will come through compensation. Some of them may not have transfer fee receiving immediately, but if the club have the right documentation and they are on the FIFA transfer machine system and they have all the things they need to do affiliated to their FA, they will be entitled to solidarity mechanism and training compensation. For the period they spend in training that particular player, when the player turns professional, this club, they earn a lot from it. I don't know if you've seen in the news, but there was a news that actually came recently about a Senegalese player that moved to Chelsea, Nicolas. And the Senegalese club is supposed to earn about €185,000 as compensation because of the transfer of the player to Chelsea. So a minor that was trained for that period, the training is not lost. So if the player turns professional tomorrow, you can actually earn from them. So we relate with this club. We tell them to put their document right so that in future they could earn so much from the investment they've made on this player. So we relate with them in the sense that do your document right. If the player have opportunity, we showcase it. Like someone like me now, I have some contacts in Europe. Most times they do come. I invite them for tournament to come and watch teams play here in Nigeria. And when they come, they can make selection and give opportunities to these players to start their professional careers in Europe. With that and the document right, certainly every management that was part of the training of that minor player will also enjoy it in future.
Okay, we'll come back to you, Eddie. Jimmy is in the house. I'm also being told that Michael Sodeke is also joining us. He's the president of the African Football License Agents Association. He is also joining us on this show. Jimmy, you're welcome to the program.
It's never a pleasure to be here. And I find this discussion very insightful, especially when you have, the top guys that have done a lot in terms of player representation in Nigeria, the likes of Eddie Ogbemudia, and also Michael that will be coming up. And I think the most important thing here to take home has to be the fact that players need to understand the essence of representation, and not only just being represented the right way, diligent, efficient representation. Most times players feel, it's just about the deal. But when it comes to player representation, it goes beyond just talking about the commercials. It has to do more with managing them, ensuring that the careers, before the careers at times take off, when the career is on, and also post-career, what do they do with their lives? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. The lifestyle, negotiation, commercials, legal, your agent has got to be involved, because that's the only way you ensure you're not going to be exploited. That's the only way you ensure that as much as possible you have, your image being properly buttressed out there, and you are going to enjoy your career as a football player.
Okay, let's just say if Michael Sodeke is around, he can join us, because we need some fundamental questions I want to ask, and we need those answers. For players who are looking, to have a career in football, how can they be protected? How they can, benefit from the, the talent that they've been given, and then, without going through the wrong route.
Yeah.
Sometime in November, there was the issue of the player who was attacked by by his Serbian agent, yeah. And then we looked at that and whatever. Okay, I think we have Michael Sodeke right there on with us. Hello, Michael. How are you? Volume. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me.
All right. Good afternoon, Michael. He is the president of the African Football License Agents, an association. Michael, let us start with this. I think that is a question I would have asked Eddie first. Who is a FIFA licensed agent, and what is his role in the football ecosystem?
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me once again. A FIFA licensed agent is a natural person or a lawyer or anyone who obtain a license from FIFA, either by apply, sit and pass the FIFA agent exam, or by the other part which has closed for now. So you can only obtain FIFA license by sitting for the exam now. So, and our role is very important in the football ecosystem, especially in Africa and Nigeria. Unfortunately, the controller, let me say the anchor of football in Nigeria are not that aware about the role of FIFA license agents in Nigeria. That's why they have not recognized the role of agents in the development of football. So,
is it mandatory from FIFA? Is it mandatory that a player must be represented either by agent or by in whatever relationship the player has with his club. Is it a must that the player must have a representation?
According to FIFA, a player must have an agent. Also, a player can represent himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
But to be in a safer area, to be in a safer arena, you need someone to represent you, so that when there is dispute, such individual will stand in for you. So that's the reason. And let's take England for instance. As we are watching English Premier League, it's only 2 players that are not working with agents in England. Only 2 players. So in Nigeria, we have about 600 players playing in the Premier League, in MPFL, playing in the Premier League. So if NFF allow these players to work with an agent, you see the resources. So at least maybe some percentage from each salary will be equivalent to 3%, 5%, or 10% or thereabout. So you see how the money will be moving around. But NFF, they choose to sideline the agent section. Even at the NFF office, there is no agent section there. There is nowhere to complain. Even the legal department, there is some of the staff that are working there don't know much about the regulation of the agent or the regulation of football. I remember I spoke with I have a discussion with one of them, and he said it's been long. I'm quoting an article from the agent regulation. I'm quoting a part, and he said, "Oh, sorry, it's been long that I read this regulation." And you are working at that department where you are the one that you're supposed to lecture me on the regulation. You said you don't know the regulation. So my own part, I believe let me say 70% of those that are working at the NFF don't know anything about football. That's why our football is like this.
Okay, Jimmy also has some questions to Abia. Let me ask you this before I come to Jimmy. At FIFA, is there an agent section at FIFA? And if there is an agent section at FIFA, why do you think there is no agent section at FA in Nigeria?
At FIFA, there are agent section. That's why we have Luis Villas-Boas at the head of agent department at FIFA. I'm a member of FIFA Football Agent Working Group. This group are the one managing the regulation of agents globally. I'm the representative of Africa in that group. So if FIFA can have such department, FIFA has agent department. They have agent chamber. When there is a dispute, you go to that chamber. In NFF too, we have wrote several letters. You need this chamber too. Agent chamber, agent working group. There must be dispute between agent and club, agent and player. We don't need to go to NFF. Just go straight to that chamber. Things will be resolved. But till today, I will say till today, maybe they will answer our letter tomorrow. Maybe they will reply tomorrow. But today, no. Have you wrote to the NFF as Michael Sodeke or as as association, as the president of the association? We wrote to the NFF as an agent, as a group.
Okay, a group of an association, not as a person.
And I also have separate discussion, one-on-one discussion with maybe the legal unit, maybe the GS office, the president's office. There are discussions. Let's do this. Yeah, they are the one that we advise. Oh, Michael, go and write this letter. Address it to so person. They just copy me. All this while since 2023, nothing till now. So my own conclusion is that most of them are not that buoyant about. They don't know the business of football. In England, football, the Premier League alone is contributing about 4 to 5% to the GDP of England. Why can't it happen in Nigeria? It can, if we allow the business to flow. But, some staff of the NFF are doing the work of agent too. As of today, they are.
You just thrown that, but I don't know until you show us evidence of that. But let me ask you this: you've talked about Mike. Michael, you talked about the FA. There is also, like we said, the clubs, and apart from the professional clubs, there is semi-professional clubs and also the academies. Why is it that none of these areas, none of these bodies, let me use the term, trust the football agents? Do the clubs trust you guys? Are you working with the clubs in Nigeria?
It's not about the trust. Okay, it's about their pocket.
Okay, explain to us. Let's hear.
Let's take for instance an academy, a player from the Channels FC, who is an academy, was moved and transferred to England. Then later, blah, 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 it's time to pay the training compensation or the solidarity mechanism. And during the process, NFF might omit Channels FC from the player's passport. Sometimes it might be by mistake, but it might be deliberate sometimes. You know why they used to deliberately do it? Because this money will comes back to the pocket of the federation. After FIFA might start for the players and academy, or if they don't find anything, they will now take the money back to the federation. The player was moved from your federation sometimes ago. This is the solidarity mechanism. They will pay the money to them. Go and use it for football development. And lo and behold, I don't think there is any football development in Nigeria in the last 10 years.
I don't know. I wanted Jimmy to ask a question, so let me just ask before Jimmy will come in. Perchance there is an academy whose player was transferred, and the FA did not list him in that academy in the player's passport. Now, how would the academy seek a redress? Do they go through a lawyer? Do they go through an agent, or do they go through NFF? And they don't get a response from NFF. What is the channel of resolution of such an issue?
If the player's passport has been confirmed, I don't think that there is no resolution again. Because all the things will be listed on the player's passport and submitted on TMS, submitted on the FIFA, the FIFA Connect. So once everything is finalized there, no resolution again.
Is it within the 2 years? I understand that it's 2 years after 2 years. Before that 2 years elapses, and the academy find out that they have omitted their name. How do they seek redress?
We need to fight with the NFF. Within that 2 years, I think there can be resolution. If the club find out on time, through the NFF, they can bring it back, do something. I'm sure Eddie knows more about this.
All right, okay, let's bring in Eddie. All right, Eddie, where are you there? You see, I didn't worry. I hope before Eddie come, we are waiting for Eddie to come in and answer that particular question. Okay, Jimmy. Yeah.
Okay. Michael, it would be nice to understand what the present situation is with the the official registration of the official status of this particular association, especially because there's also a need to get the dispute resolution chambers domesticated. And I think the association has to come into full effect before that can happen. So what exactly is holding the official registration of the Football Agents Association in Nigeria?
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy. At our last meeting in December, we had a discussion within ourselves. And the problem, we have been with the Corporate Affairs Commission since April 2024. And I think in May, the CAC confirmed to us that we need a letter from the NFF, letter of no rejection. We were there for about 6-7 months with the NFF dragging to get the letter of no rejection. Blah, blah, 6-7 months, 8 months. We didn't get anything until maybe October, November. And the letter was signed by someone at the legal unit. But CAC now rejected the letter that the letter must be signed by the president of the NFF. Since then, we've not heard anything from the NFF if the president has signed. And till now, CAC is waiting. They are still waiting for the letter. So we hope that maybe tomorrow the president of the NFF will sign the letter, or next week. We don't know.
Okay, we are still trying to get back. We'll get back to you guys when I want to see if we can get back to when Eddie comes. Because we're talking about that issue of the players' passport.
Exactly.
To say, you say, if Eddie can throw more light on that. We are also say before we go on, whether we can open the lines. You understand? And see what could be done. Okay, I think Eddie is there. I think Eddie is there. Eddie, we are talking about where before I was with Michael. Michael said you can throw more light on the issue of the players' passports. I've just asked him, supposing an academy player is transferred out of Nigeria, and then an academy that trained the player for some period found out that her name, the academic's name, was omitted in the player's passport. And then they probably, what is the channel through which to redress this? How can the academy go about getting this thing resolved?
All right, thank you very much.
You are frozen. Hello. Okay, I will try and see, because I think
the network. There seems to be a glitch.
Okay, I think we are trying to get him back. Go. Can we get you, Eddie?
Okay.
Eddie, your network. What's happening to your network?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, we can hear you now. All right. Okay, go on. Okay, let's hear you.
As I said earlier on.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. As I said. First, the club must show evidence that they actually submitted requests to be included. Then they will miss it, because if they show evidence that they actually requested, that means the federation will be the one to pay the compensation they are supposed to pay. So if the federation
Okay, we just want to hold on to, let us see. I think we're having a little bit issue trying to get Eddie online. His line has been clear before, so I don't know what the issue is. We'll come back to you guys. Because we want to see if we can take some calls and see how those who are watching, other players or whatever, can call to let us to share their experiences with us on this issue.
Ken, I think what's very important at this point in time has to be issues of safeguarding. Apart from documentation, what Eddie was trying to say basically has to be the fact that the clubs themselves must do the needful in terms of making sure that that documentation is complete, in terms of making sure that they have proper contractual agreements with the clubs, so that when they are due for solidarity mechanism, compensations and all that, they can get it. But most times we find out that academies and clubs, they don't do the needful, or they do half-hearted measures, and at the end of the day, they will claim to be shortchanged. In this particular regard, you talked about omission. I think Michael actually did talk about the omissions that actually do happen from NFF at times. Maybe it could be deliberate, maybe it could be. But the first line of action should be that you complain to the NFF through the legal department.
Okay.
Again, let's be clear about this. That's why I talked about domestication of the dispute resolution chambers. We should have that in Nigeria. We don't have.
In the absence of that now, how does that was what we're trying to get. So that's what we're trying to get.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's the player status committee that handles that particular,
but you need to go through. You need to go through your FA. You can't go straight to FIFA.
Exactly, because you now have to go through your state FA.
Yeah.
And because as MAs now means member association, the NFF owes it to the agent as much as possible to, be in tandem in terms of correspondence. Make sure you communicate with them, they communicate back, and, there's a free flow of working synergy, which Michael has said is missing. Clearly missing because it looks most likely like, okay, because the association is not officially registered, they tend to deal with them as if, after all, it's Michael, it's Eddie, are not giving the necessary recognition to the association.
Back. Eddie, are you hearing us now? You unmute your mic. Unmute your mic. Your mouth is shaking. I can see you trying to talk. Have you
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes,
can hear you now. All right. You are trying to throw light on that. We're talking about a scenario where an academy trained a player. That player got transferred outside the country, and then the player's passport was probably omitted, by the FA. How will such an academy seek a redress? How can you channel your grievance? What are the channel of communication for your grievances?
Okay, the process is first, there must be evidence that club, when they notice that the player was transferred, because you must notify your federation immediately. So you must keep tab of the record of all players that you have trained over time, so that when they are progressing, you notify your club, your federation that, player A played for us in the year 2018 to 2020. Now he just joined Bayern Munich. Please ensure that our name is on the player passport. So normally we always advise, like the club I represent in Nigeria, I tell them to write to the NFF officially, so that, for example, if NFF decide to be negligent and refuse to include their name on the player passport, whatever that is due to them from that transfer, NFF is liable to pay that amount. And if it happens that NFF refuse to pay that amount, they can actually write to FIFA seeking for redress before FIFA that NFF is supposed to pay all this amount. These are evidences that we wrote to them to include our name so that we benefit, but they were negligent. So in that instance now, there are monies that come to NFF from FIFA on a yearly basis. FIFA has the statutory right to deduct that amount from whatever the NFF ought to aid that would have accrued to that club. That particular amount will be paid to them. But there must be a process. The club must first. There are many clubs that don't have the right documentation. I can tell you, we have over 50,000 clubs in Nigeria, and I can tell you more than 80% of them, they are not on FIFA TMS. They are not affiliated to any club, any federation, like the state level. They just want to do their business. They just want to move players. They are not. So the process is that they must pass through those processes to be affiliated. And if they are not affiliated, you cannot demand anything. So many of them are not affiliated. Many of them are not TMS. Many of them are not registered on CAC.
All right, just hold on. Let us take. We have a Theo on the line. Hello, Theophilus.
Boss, good afternoon, sir. How are you guys doing?
Good afternoon.
All right, good afternoon to you. Okay.
A lot of people a lot of players, unfortunately, do not understand that football is a business. And they should take it as so. I know quite a number of players that have been scammed due to the fact that, they fell into the wrong hands. Promises from so-called agents in quotes that are not licensed, that are not registered. And I'm really, really glad that we're able to put this on for people to see, especially young and upcoming footballers, even those that are already playing in the league, that this is a business that you should take seriously. Do not underplay or play down the role of an agent and the impact that it could potentially have on your career, because you are trying you want to keep everything for yourself. I think this is very, very important. Players should take this seriously, and I really, really appreciate the fact that you brought the gentleman that you brought on the show. And to end with this, I really hope that we can also, our day will be brightened today as well. I know the picture.
You have to go there.
I definitely have to go there.
Thank you, Theo.
You have to go there.
Our day will be brightened. Thank you so much. Theophilus, we know where you stand. So the fate that happened yesterday, might not happen today. Today it doesn't rain every day now. You trained yesterday, today is sunshine. So that's what we are saying here. Okay, let's go back to Michael. Michael, like I said, we are looking at players who need the services of an agent. And then, so I still want to ask you, I think I asked this question before, probably I want to ask it in a different way. Why should a player need the service of an agent? Why? Why don't I say, okay, since I can represent myself, why don't I know Eddie talked about people not trying to money. They want to talk about it. They don't want to spend 2 naira, and then probably what is the result of not spending 2 naira and losing 10,000 naira? How? What is that? Do clubs also need agents? Apart from players, do clubs and coaches, do they need the services of FIFA licensed agents?
Yeah, thank you once again. According to FIFA, a licensed agent can work for either a coach, a club, or even the FA. So we can work with either of them or all of them at the same time. And there is difference between an agent and an individual who is not an agent. Like the guy that Madrid, Nigerian player in Serbia, is not a licensed agent.
Oh, the guy that did what?
And whenever he chooses to be a licensed agent, he will be suspended. As if there is a watch list. A watch list on the watch list of FIFA now.
All right.
And even the African agent association are watching whenever he applies.
Yeah. Just so that we have a caller listener from Kaduna. Hello, Matthew. From Abuja. Matthew, how are you?
I'm fine. Good afternoon to everybody on the studio.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. I want to talk about the
Can you kill the volume? It's like you are close to the telly. Kill the volume of the telly so we can hear you. Okay. All right.
No, I'm not close to. I'm very far.
All right. Yeah. Go on. We can hear you clearly now. Go.
I want to talk about the issue of the players. How players suffer much. And I don't know how Nigeria are working with it concerning a player that want to go out. He has to pass through some things. He will begging some agents will collect their money. They will not help them. They will be turning them. They can even decide to take them to some of the African continent around instead for them to use them here in the academic of nation or the academy we have in Nigeria. They will take them. Example, I have a boy that I lost him very well. Money, they will sell land, sell this one. Up to now, he's in Egypt. I don't even know what the agent is talking about. So that's why I brought this issue. What can we do to stop all these things? If an agent cannot help the player, can they take the player back to Nigeria Academy? So that Nigeria, if God help from there, the NFL or the society that.
All right, thank you, Matthew. Because we really ran out of time. I don't know, Michael. Can we just 30 seconds, just so matter because we've run out of time.
Yeah, thank you. The last caller said if agent cannot help. Agent do help. Like myself, I've repatriated over 20 players back to Nigeria for my own fund.
Okay.
Because a fake individual, a fake agent, took them out of Nigeria and dumped them somewhere, maybe in Cape Verde, South Africa, India, and co. So if you work with a licensed agent will not take you to Fiji or to where he won't even get a return of his investment. So that is it. A licensed agent will do the right thing at the right time. Most of the clubs, anyone can go to the NFF to apply for request for an introduction letter to take to the embassy. So the NFF need to sit tight on that.
Thank you, Mike. We're really out of time. I think we'll bring you guys back again. Remember, you joined us earlier so that we can trash the lot of them that need to be done. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Eddie, for being part of the show.
We can only thank them for coming.
Yeah.
We encourage them and all agents to do more of player education. Is very, very important. All right.
I think we'll do that again, probably today, because they joined us quite late. A lot need to be touched. We want to look at the players. We want to look at the clubs and the FA. I'm Ken Ochonogo. God bless Nigeria.